really makes you laugh?
I guess everyone that I work with, you know, stupidity makes me laugh. Like really, really banal nonsense. I like to just really be, you know, it's not as cerebral as much, you know. I enjoy that as much. I'd rather watch somebody speak seriously that's cerebral. But of course I love, you know, I love Bill Maher. I think that he's cerebrally funny. But what really makes me laugh is just stupid stuff.
Well, when you watched Ricky Gervais say at the Golden Globes, causing outrage with this very dark, anarchic kind of Hollywood humor, do you laugh with him? Do you laugh at the situation? What was your reaction?
I think both. I think he was great. I didn't see it. I was out of town. I didn't see it until a few days after, but obviously everyone was talking about it. I think Ricky's hilarious. I thought it was perfect. I think those people deserve to be made fun of. You know, you're talking about people who are making millions of dollars a year doing what they love to do, and you can't take a joke about yourself? I mean, come on, that's ridiculous.
You hosted the VMAs.
Yeah.
And got absolutely canned the next day.
Oh.
Worst hosting ever and all that kind of thing. And you were quite amusing afterwards. You said, you know it's going to be the worst day of your life even before you do it.
Oh, of course. I mean, as soon as you agree to do it, you say, well, just get ready. I told my staff, I'm like, get ready for the next day. It's not going to be pretty. I mean, everyone gets taught. Nobody ever does a good job at that. But I know that, and I don't really care. But I know other people. You know, Ricky, I've read interviews about him talking about it, and you could tell it's really rattled him, because I don't think he's ever gotten that kind of feedback. Luckily, I'm used to getting that kind of feedback, so I have no problem with it. I mean, it's not like I love it, but I don't, you know, it doesn't ruin my day.
What makes your day? What to you is the perfect show? If you could choose your perfect guests, I've heard you say it would be David Hasselhoff and Paula Abdul, and I know why you're saying that. You're being naughty.
Yeah.
Because you think they're just going to self-implode and you're going to have a lot of fun with them.
No, I mean, what makes my day, I like when the show, you know, runs well and is efficient, and it's just, I like to get in, you know, have a full day. I like to work out. I like to get everything done. I don't like to be overwhelmed. It's just the mechanics of the show. I just like it to be funny, and I like to have fun when I'm doing it.
What's the worst type of guest for you?
People who are so nervous. You know, I mean, I can understand nervousness. I get that. But people who just can't, you know, you can at least talk about something you feel comfortable with. Even if you are nervous, you have to find areas that make you feel comfortable so that you can speak without looking like a mess of a person. And so when people are so overly nervous, it's very, very taxing to have to interview them. I mean, it's only a 7 or 8 minute interview on my show, so I'm lucky. But, you know, and otherwise very stupid people.
Well, talking of stupidity, I know that you have come back to this point, that you kind of rail against sometimes the innate stupidity of the kind of show you do. If you were doing a more serious thing, what kind of issues really get you going?
Well, I mean, I'm interested in politics. You know, I'm interested in human interest stories. You know, I want people to be aware of the stuff. I think everything that's happening with the tabloids, you know, People magazine used to be, you know, a magazine about human interest stories. So even if you weren't the most educated or interested person in the world, you could at least get your fill of something that was a little bit more responsible.
Any politicians that you just can't stand?
Well, Boehner is ridiculous.
What's wrong with Boehner?
Really? I mean, come on.
Man in touch with his emotional side?
Emotional side. He's not even in touch. He doesn't even know what he's doing or where he's working. Forget his emotions. Let's talk about the rest of him.
Sarah Palin, you a fan of her?
That's not a serious person. I mean, I can't hate her.
Do you ever wake up and think, my God, she could be president?
No, I don't. I refuse to think that that's even an option.
President Trump?
That's getting interesting.
I mean, he's doing really well.
Well, is he?
He's way ahead in all the polls.
Well, but the polls, I don't really trust polls. I think.
What else do we have to go on? I mean.
Well, hopefully our minds, because that would be ridiculous if Donald Trump became president.
Would it be ridiculous?
Yeah, it would.
Ronald Reagan became one of the most popular presidents in history.
Well,
and he was a B-movie actor.
Yeah, well, Arnold Schwarzenegger was also the governor of California. Look how great that turned out.
Yeah, but was that really his fault?
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Well, I would, not entirely. Nothing's entirely anybody's fault.
Anybody been governor of California in that financial crisis and not caught a big cold?
No, I think he was very irresponsible. I mean, that was very irresponsible. We were in very, very bad shape as a state. I know that you hail from the other side of the pond, but...
I spent a lot of time in California.
But no, I mean, it's not a popularity contest, and sometimes it turns out to be. You're absolutely right, and that's really sad. and I hope to God that Sarah Palin does never even come close to becoming the president of any country that I've set foot in.
Did you vote for Obama?
Of course, yeah.
Would you again?
Yes, of course.
You think he's lived up to hope and audacity?
Well, I think it takes a long time to get things accomplished in that climate.
That wasn't the
yes,
question.
has hope and audacity? Absolutely. Has he fulfilled every requirement that people were expecting of him? No. But this is the hardest job, in the country. It's not easy. Nothing happens overnight. And people who are so impatient, need to be less impatient. So I exercise my patience with government.
The world's least patient woman saying, let's be patient with President Obama.
Well, I love Barack Obama. I mean, come on.
Well, you met him?
Yes.
And what happened?
He asked me where Chewy was, actually.
He didn't.
He did.
Did he?
He did. I met him at a fundraiser.
He did.
Before he was elected. And we waited in line, and I walked up, and he said, oh, you're very funny. I enjoy your show. And I went, what are you watching? I thought, what this guy's going to go? And then he said, where's Chewy? And I went, oh, my God.
Can I have one last little break? And when we come back, I want to ask you, what's the future? What does the future hold for Chelsea Handler Incorporated, this burgeoning empire?
Okay.